Imagine walking into a fancy restaurant, dressed to impress, only to see a quiet black waitress with burn scars across her arms and a military tattoo, peeking out from beneath her sleeve, ignored, ridiculed, even laughed at by guests. Until one man, a grizzled veteran, drops his fork, his eyes wide in disbelief as he whispers, "That's a unit tattoo. From Echo 07. What happens next shocks the whole room and changes lives forever. Before you miss the twist that stunned millions, hit that subscribe button to uncover the truth hiding behind silence. Scars and a waitress who was never meant to serve tables but once saved an entire battalion. The waiter with the TATOO at the heart of Charleston's wealthiest district sat the Crimson Lily, a five-star restaurant known for its pretentious patrons, gloved service, and elitist clientele. Every evening, Mercedes, a tall, quiet black woman with braided hair tucked under a cap, rolled up her sleeves and bore the judgmental stares of diners with the patience of a monk. Her arms were scarred, healed burns rippling across deep brown skin like cracked glass over smooth wood. But it wasn't the scars that caught the eye of one guest, it was the tattoo. Hidden near the edge of her left bicep, barely visible beneath. Her rolled sleeve was a black eagle crest flanked by two numbers, EZ07. She didn't talk much. Didn't complain when guests turned away or whispered. She moved like someone who had been through hell and no longer needed validation from the living. That night, the restaurant buzzed with corporate noise. Laughter echoed from the corner table, a group of suited men, clearly well-fed on power. Their leader, a smug financial executive named Grant Ellison, snapped his fingers when Mercedes approached. "Hey, Private Burns," he laughed, pointing to her scars. What was it, a hot pan or a barbecue mishap? His table burst into laughter. Mercedes flinched but didn't answer. She placed down the wine bottle with quiet dignity. Grant nudged his friend. "Bet she was in the kitchen army. You know, fought off a burnt toast ambush." At another table, an older man paused mid-bite. He wore a leather vest, gray beard trimmed, and eyes sharp beneath a USMC cap. His hands trembled. "EZ07, he whispered. His name was Sergeant Robert Hammer Jacobs. Retired, decorated. He stood slowly, cane in hand, and approached Mercedes as if he'd seen a ghost. "Ma'am," he said, loud enough for the nearby tables to hush. "Where'd you get that tattoo?" Mercedes looked at him, then lowered her eyes. "Same place you did, Sergeant," she said softly. Gasps, forks clattered. Grant blinked, suddenly unsure of the joke. Jacobs removed his jacket. There it was, matching ink, faded with time but still proud. "That's impossible," he muttered. "There were only 6 of us from Echo 07 who made it out of Kandahar." Mercedes nodded. "7, Sergeant. You didn't see me because I was pulling the wounded out of the fire. Echo 07, it wasn't supposed to be a massacre." In 2012, a forward operations base near Kandahar came under siege. The Echo 07 unit, a classified hybrid team of intelligence officers, field medics, and tactical recon, was trapped for over 36 hours in the mountains after their extraction route was bombed. Official reports said they lost contact with a support unit, 4 medics and an engineer who never made it back. Mercedes was one of them. Back then, she wasn't a waitress. She was Specialist Mercedes Roan, field combat medic with advanced burn trauma training. When their convoy was hit, Mercedes ignored orders and charged through flames to drag soldiers out. Her arms caught fire. She didn't stop. Her commander radioed for her extraction. It never came. She saved 11 lives before collapsing. Waking up months later in a makeshift clinic in Oman, she was discharged without ceremony. Her record buried under Black Ops files and government silence. Her scars became a ticket to anonymity. Her heroism became classified. Back in the restaurant, the veteran shook his head in disbelief. You're the one they said died pulling Jenkins from the wreckage." Mercedes gave a wry smile. I died that day, just not in the way they meant. People listened now. Even Grant, who had been snickering moments earlier, looked pale. You mean you're military? He asked, like real military? Mercedes nodded. Did 2 tours before I disappeared behind a desk. Then I joined Echo. We weren't allowed to talk about it, even after. Grant swallowed hard. Why didn't you tell someone? She laughed bitterly. I did. No one believed me, and I figured. Maybe silence was my new uniform to see generals diner near word spread. The Crimson Lily had gone viral overnight, thanks to a young busboy who had secretly filmed the encounter. The clip titled "Waitress Destroys Arrogant Man with Her Scars" and a secret tattoo had over 6 million views. The comments exploded with theories. Was she really a soldier? Where was her proof? Why was her record sealed? Meanwhile, Mercedes was summoned to the manager's office and handed a formal suspension. Too much attention, they said. Customers feel uncomfortable. She packed her things in silence. But when she stepped out onto the sidewalk, she found a crowd. Veterans. Journalists. Even a few members of Echo 07. Sergeant Jacobs was among them. We checked the files, he said. Your name's not there. But Jenkins remembers. You pulled him out. He remembers the woman with burning sleeves. That night, Mercedes got a phone call. A voice she hadn't heard in years. General Dana. Weatherby. Roan. The voice cracked. We made a mistake. A big one. Meet me at the Veterans Hall tomorrow. Bring that tattoo. The hall was full. Mercedes walked in wearing the same uniform she had been discharged in, faded, wrinkled, but still bearing the patch of honor. The general addressed the audience. Years ago, a medic went beyond the call of duty and was left behind. Not by enemy fire, but by our silence. I hereby award Mercedes Roan the Silver Star for bravery and the Purple Heart for her wounds. And more than that, I offer a formal apology. As the medals were pinned, tears rolled down her cheeks. Not for the applause, not for the validation, but for the ghosts who never came home. Full CIR's Elite Crimson Lily closed for renovations weeks later, citing PR damages. Meanwhile, a new restaurant opened nearby called Echo's Flame, owned by none other than Mercedes Roan, funded by a surprise grant initiated by veterans. Groups and crowd-funded by millions inspired by her story. Echo's Flame wasn't just a place to eat, it was a mission. The kitchen employed veterans with PTSD, trauma survivors, and single mothers. Every dish was named after code words and unit mottos. And on the wall near the kitchen hung a plaque, to those whose scars became their armor. One afternoon, a familiar face walked in. Grant Ellison, this time no suit. Just jeans and eyes full of shame. I wanted to say, "I'm sorry," he said. Mercedes smiled gently. I already forgave you, Grant, but you're welcome to stay and help us clean dishes. He blinked, then laughed. Deal. Before the evening crowd rolled in, she stood out on the balcony of her new dream, looking out at the city. She didn't need a uniform anymore. Her scars told the story. Her silence had become strength.